In part 3 of lecture 5, we will talk about backups and add-ons. The one thing that you can be sure of is that if you spend enough time working with computers and reading and writing files on magnetic disk drives, they will fail. And sooner or later, you may lose or accidentally delete files that you have on your computer's drive, and it will be something that you need. This is why backups become so important. But you don't necessarily need to back up everything. And that makes the question, what is it that you do have to back up? The single most important software on your computer is your operating system. You can't start your computer without it, but that doesn't mean that you need to back it up. Usually, your computer will either come with a disk partition, a separate area of your disk drive, with a backup of your operating system, or it will direct you when you first use it to create a backup. That backup is the one that you need to be able to use to restart your computer. Most devices, including both computers and tablets, come with a great deal of pre-installed software. And you have probably downloaded and installed other apps as well. And you may actually have purchased some software packages on disk, as rare as that may be these days. But if your disk drive fails, downloading and installing them again can take a lot of time. It may well be a good idea to back them up. Data files, documents, photos, music tracks, videos, these may be impossible to reconstruct from scratch. This happened to me, where a disk crash resulted in losing some Word documents that were personally very important, but impossible to recover or replace. Settings, accounts, profiles, and maybe even some passwords may be on your computer, and if you have to reconstruct this, this can take you quite a while. It's better to back them up. There are different ways in which you can back up your computer or other devices. You can back up your computer's hard disk, either to the cloud or to an external drive. I have two separate external drives, one for backing up my office computer and one for backing up my home computer. And this is despite having a network directory onto which I can back up my office computer. Your handheld devices also have a lot of files that can be important. This can include music, pictures, videos, and you really want to back these up as well. You can back them up onto a hard disk or onto the cloud. Since I have an iPhone, it backs up onto iCloud whenever I recharge my phone. It is also a good idea to have a local backup of your data, even if it is on the cloud. You may not have access to the cloud at all times that you need it, and you are in big trouble if the cloud service goes out of business. There are a few things that you need if you are going to do a successful backup. You need a recovery drive, which contains the parts of the operating system that will allow you to boot your computer. It can also diagnose whatever problems your system may have. You need a utility that can create copies of essential files. It is very tedious if you have to manually keep track of the files that need to be copied. A file history allows for the backup process to be automated. With file synchronization, it can make copies of files from all your various data folders and store them in a way that will make it easier to restore them if necessary. When we talk about a system image, we mean a complete copy of your hard disk's data. Given that this includes your computer's icons and installed software and related settings, having the system image makes it easier to restore your computer to how you want Find It set up. There are a lot of different types of gadgets that you can add to digital devices. Obviously, if you're talking about your computer, it can include input devices like keyboards, pointing devices such as mice and touchpads, game controllers, scanners, microphones, credit card scanners, barcode readers, and biometric scanners. For output, this can include printers, headphones, speakers, and monitors. For a college or an office, it can include projectors. It can even include a robot. Some devices provide input and output, and some of these may not be traditional peripherals for computers. It can include fitness trackers, which are fairly new. It can include touch screens, home security systems, MIDI instruments, home control systems, audio headsets, virtual reality headsets, and haptic gloves. These devices all need some way to connect to your computers. They use ports in the systems unit that allow peripheral devices to be connected to the computer. These are called expansion ports because they expand what your computer systems can use for input, output, and storage. Many devices like these use USB ports. USB flash drives and memory cards make use of expansion ports. In the upper left corner, you will see a collection of general-purpose ports, including 3 variations of USB. In addition to the standard USB is mini USB for smaller devices. USB 3.0, which is the third version of USB. USB-C is a new type of USB connector. In the upper right corner, there are a variety of connectors for display devices. VGA is an older computer monitor standard dating back to the 1990s. DVI was developed to replace VGA and provide better resolution. HDMI is for high-definition televisions and monitors. At the bottom on the left, you will see older style plugs for audio input and audio output. These standards go back to the 1990s. On the bottom right, you will see an Ethernet plug for a network connector, and the wireless antenna fits into a USB port and is common for devices such as wireless mice. A very large number of peripheral devices use USB connections, and this makes it easy for computers to run short of USB ports. An easy solution to this problem is to use a USB hub, which allows several USB plugs to connect through it to one USB port. Bluetooth is a common wireless technology that meets an important need, connecting different peripheral devices to computers, tablets, and smartphones. Most people are familiar with Bluetooth because we can use it for connecting wirelessly to our phones, allowing us to talk on the phone while keeping our hands free. This is particularly important because many states, including New York, have outlawed using a phone while driving without hands-free operation. But there are other uses, including headphones for computers and wireless computer mice. Operating system designers know quite well that there will be all kinds of new devices that will come on the market long after people start using computers with their software on it. Since operating systems need to be able to serve as an interface between the hardware and the application software, how do you do that if you don't know about the devices when you are developing the operating system? For this reason, Device drivers are separate software modules used to control peripheral devices. If you are using a particular printer, that means it has to have the necessary software to format data so it will be printed correctly. And it's not just printers. Disk drives, mice, and other devices all need to have drivers so the computer has the correct instructions for using them.